Do you want to live to 100 years old and beyond with great health, wealth, purpose, and joy? In today's episode, I'm excited to share the profound life wisdom of 85-year-old Japanese cancer survivor Chieko. Despite facing serious illness, Chieko radiated happiness in her later years. She attributed this longevity and zest through 5 yet very simple, powerful rules that we all can learn from. Grounded in science and time-tested through Chieko's inspiring life, these rules provide keys to cultivating more meaningful and healthy years of life. By the end of this episode, you will discover some small but impactful shifts that could add more to your days as you continue to grow and evolve. This episode shares insightful life lessons you don't want to miss. Let's get to it.
Welcome to the Financial Mirror. Where future success is reflected in our knowledge of fixing the one thing we can control, ourselves.
Welcome to the Financial Mirror, and thanks for joining me today as we continue to work to improve the one thing that we can control, ourselves. Here at the Financial Mirror, it is not all about the numbers and spreadsheets alone, but about transforming and educating you on money so you can make smarter financial decisions. If this is the first time you're joining in, don't forget to hit subscribe on YouTube to be notified of all the new episodes as they release. If you are listening to this on a podcast platform of your choice, don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast. If you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave a 5-star review and a written comment, as both of those go a long way in getting this information out to more and more listeners. So today's episode is a little different because it's not directly like financially driven, and I've done a few of these over time, but I ran across this article, and I'm telling you, like it was just like, okay, these are super simple, right? Very enlightening article. It's these 5 principles that a lady named Chieko credits for her longevity and fulfillment and her very resilient spirit in her old age, right? And I was like, man, I can't help but talk about it, because if these 5 things can help someone that's fought off cancer, if these 5 simple things can help someone later on in their life when things are not as easy to do. I'm just putting this in my own perspective because, as I've gotten older, the things that I used to do very fluid and easily, I used to, be made like a rubber band and could just bounce back. It's a little more difficult, right? Because the more experiences we have, the more our body dwindles. It can be a little harder, but her wisdom validates that so much of what, what's enabling your well-being and happiness, it really boils down to a lot of like things that there's 5 things that you actually can do to improve that, right? So I did want to share this. I'll put a link to the article in the show notes if you just want to go read more about Chieko, sort of a little bit more of information. Because today I just want to stick to the 5 rules that she talks about in this article. I want to make sure that I talk about those 5 things because she's now in her late 80s. Chieko starts every day with this, a simple, powerful ritual. And that's gratitude, right? That's how she starts every day. She reflects on the gift of just being alive and being thankful for all the different things that she's been given. And I think sometimes that's something that we all struggle with, is that we are going through some type of crisis, whether that be we're going through debt, we're trying to fight our way out of debt, we're trying to, pay off a house, we're trying to, we have something happens, like this financial setback happens, and we're just trying to get through it, and we lose sight of being grateful, being thankful for everything that you have been given, right? Because some people don't have that same problem, right? Like for you to even have access to the ability to accumulate debt shows you that you are better than a lot of the world, right? Because of the simple fact that you have been given and you've been entrusted with money that doesn't exist, right? Like You see how crazy that is? So be grateful for where you're at and take advantage of getting, if that's something you're going through, or if that's something that if you have another financial, piece that you're trying to navigate, or a financial goal you're trying to reach, these 5 rules will contribute to all of that, right? Because there's just 5 simple, very powerful and impactful ways that you can absolutely transform your life. So without further ado, I do want to jump into them because there's 5 of them, and I want to be able to get through them and not make this episode, a whole hour long. So we're trying to keep this under 30 minutes, closer to 20 if we can. So let's jump into it. The first rule is you've got to stay active. Chieko walked 5 miles every day well into her 80s, right? She thought that if I stay active, that is the key to my health and happiness. And I've said this in episodes, and I'll say it again. Health is wealth. If you are healthy, you make better financial decisions. I'm telling you, they are very much in parallel with each other. If you are dwindling in your health, that will impact your finances. It will. It, like, your ability to react and adapt and be agile and resilient when bad things happen in your finances, that can be helped or in, I don't want to say it's going to stop financial crises from happening, but better health will, I'm not saying might, will impact your finances in a positive manner. So physical activity, so many benefits, illnesses, strengthens bones and muscles, improves sleep, mental health, all those things. But the great part is that you need all those things to impact your finances. People, you can look this up for yourself. People make terrible decisions when they're tired, right? Being active, getting good sleep, all of those things are directly impacted into better decision making. So when you think about debt was a bad decision, right? It is. It's a bad decision. So we do those things, we react in those manners whenever we are lacking in our activity level or we're lacking in our sleep, right? Like that those can be directly impacted by they can directly impact your decision making. So Chieko talked about it, take walks, go on swims, join a fitness class, garden, dance, go and, walk around your community mall. Like, I don't know what you do, but just find an activity that you enjoy and consistently go and do it. Find friends that'll want to go do it with you, because that is a component. The first rule is just stay active. Just stay doing something. It doesn't have to be directly related to like, oh, I've got to go lift weights, or oh, I've got to go join a gym, or oh, I've got to do, like, you don't have to do that. Just stay active. Just go and do stuff, right? Just go do stuff. But I said you need to possibly go find some friends that would do this with you, and that takes me into rule 2. Cherish your friendships. Chieko had a very active social life. She regularly met with friends. She created and engaged in activities with these friends. She didn't just always wait for a friend to reach out and say, hey, do you want to go do something? Like, she was actively trying to cherish those friendships. She was actively trying to build and grow and mature those friendships, right? Those social connections were vital to her health, right? Friends provide more than just someone to talk to. They boost your happiness. They help us live longer, right? Like, we need relationships in our life. We really do. So we need to cherish those friendships. We don't need to let those slip away. We don't need to let those fall off course, because when you need that extra emotional support, that's what your friends are for. That's what your friends are for. They are there for all of those things. So find some very, very good friends. Find friends that just, that you can just talk to, that it doesn't seem like it's a job to talk to them. Like if you feel like it's a job to talk to your friends, you just don't have enough in common, that it just doesn't flow. Like, something's off. Like, go find people that's just super easy just to chat with and just open up to, and just tell about your problems and all those things. There's tons of things out there, but schedule regular catch-ups with them, join different like group memberships, volunteer together, travel, with your friends whenever it's possible, but make time for the people who pick you up. Um, I was introduced to a group of, and this is not a by any way an endorsement, but I mean, I would tell you that it's a great group. But I was introduced to a group called F3. It's a nationwide like men's like community group, like workout group. So they work out all weather. Doesn't matter if it's snow, rain, shine. It doesn't matter, cold. It doesn't matter. But you can go and join a local F3 group, as a man, and I'm sure women. I'm sure there's a women's group as well. But that's just a really good group of people. Like, it's just a bunch of guys that just want to go out and work out together and encourage each other and just build each other up. And those are the type of people that you need to build into your life and cherish. Because being out there, being with those guys, it's super uplifting, is super enlightening. But I'm telling you, just do what you can to cherish your friendships and build on those. The third rule that she talked about was you've got to find purpose. Chieko, it sounds funny because she was in her 70s and Chieko started volunteering at a nursing home. Like, most people are getting put into nursing homes in their 70s, and she's going to volunteer at a nursing home. Isn't that crazy? It's nuts. But she found a sense of purpose that fueled her passion for life just by being there, just by helping out, just by giving back to people that may not be as have stayed as active, or had been able to continue to be as mobile as she was. But you got to find meaningful ways to provide some fulfillment to others, right? Because it improves your mental and even physical health just by giving back, by finding a purpose inside of you that just you just want to tell somebody, you just want to do something, right? But volunteering is a way. Sharing different wisdom and skills. Chieko probably had tons of wisdom. She probably would be in that nursing home giving out tons of wisdom for free, right? Like, tons of wisdom. But you got to find a purpose, right? Like, I found the Financial Mirror years ago, and the whole purpose of it was just I grew up in a household that I didn't learn all the best financial practices, but I've seen time and time again over the years people struggling with finances, and I knew I had a purpose to share the wisdom and skills that I've got around finances with more that are out there just to help improve them. Right. But you just have to find that. You have to find what is it for you. You got to take up some hobbies. You've got to set goals. I heard this and I either read it in a book or heard it on a podcast. I don't exactly remember where this came from, and I'm so sorry that I'm not quoting, who said this, but I didn't say it. So let's just say that. But what you talked about was that you start getting older when you speak of the past instead of what's going to happen, right? You stop thinking about what I'm going to do, and you start talking about what I've done. That's like the line of, like, you're now old, right? You stop talking about the things you're going to do. Like, you stop proactively, like, setting out goals that you're going to achieve, and you start talking about, here's all the things that I did, right? Like, past tense. You got to get out of that. You got to get out of that. You've got to find purpose. You've got to make it a priority. You got to reflect on what matters most, and you got to go after it. Find your purpose. Rule 4 is, like she started with every day, you've got to practice gratitude. Chieko expressed daily gratitude for everything she had. She loved her family. She loved her health. Just the very simple things in life, like laughter, she just enjoyed. She truly, truly enjoyed it. And you've got to find out what that is. So many times we get bogged down in all this daily commotion, the things that are going on around us, and we lose track of just being grateful for what it is that you've been given, right? What is it that you've been given, and just be grateful for it. This social media society that we're in, we can really start to feel like that, well, I just don't have as much as that other person. And who cares? Like, who truly cares? Like, if that's the type of, like, mindset that you just pity yourself and woe is me type thing, like, it's just not healthy. It's not healthy. Be grateful for everything that you have and make the most of it, because you're in charge of it. You're in charge of it. You've been gifted this, and you're in charge of it. Make the most of it. But a couple of things you can do to just practice gratitude is You can keep a journal, right? If journaling, there's studies out there that show journaling is very impactful for people. You can share just thank yous, like just calling when people like somebody does something, just say thank you. Okay, give them a call. Like it can mean a lot to someone. Meditation has shown tons and tons of benefits for people. And always savor those very small like pleasures in life. Like don't let them slip away. Don't make them like so small. Like if just taking your kid out for like breakfast or something, like seems so small to you, but be grateful that you have the opportunity to do that. Be grateful that you have the opportunity to impact your child's life in that manner. Like be grateful for all of these things because it truly is a great way to continue to feel good about yourself, right? It continues to build you up. And that's a huge part of everything is because how you feel about yourself resonates with others. When you're not confident in yourself, when you're not confident in the things that are going on, and I'm sorry, I'm way off gratitude at this point, but when you're not confident in yourself, people feel that, people see that. You've got to be confident in yourself because that resonates and that helps, that drives the type of friendships that you're going to run into, right? You cannot get into a group of friends that just sit around and complain. And we'll talk about that at the end. But you can't do that. So practice gratitude, be grateful for everything that you have because you've earned it, and be grateful that it's there and make the most of it. And then the last rule she talked about was don't stress, stay optimistic. And there's a difference between being just this chronic optimist and being a realist. There's a difference. But there's also a very fine line. And I have to say that because so many times people will give up optimism for reality, but the part of reality that they look at is what they currently are capable of accomplishing. Let me break that down. People will say, and they'll say, well, I'm not going to be optimistic about, I'm not going to go run a half marathon because I can't run a half marathon right now. Because realistically, right now, I can't run a half marathon. So I'm just going to say I can't run a half marathon. They say I'm not going to be optimistic about getting there because in reality, right now, I can't. But that's the gray line, is that you are capable. It's just going to take some work, right? It's just going to take some work. You're going to get there. Can't do it now. So in reality, right now, you're grounded in reality right now. But you can be optimistic that you could do it in 1 year, right? Like you could be optimistic and you could not stress, and you could be optimistic that you'll do it in a year. Let me put it into a financial perspective. People will say, well, I'm in debt up to my eyeballs and I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to live in debt forever. True, you are in debt up to your eyeballs. That is reality. But optimistically, you could say, I'm going to get there in 2 years. I'm going to be debt free in 2 years. And that's the optimistic words coming out, right? You've now professed that, hey, I'm going to do this. It's just going to take me 2 years. Perfect. That's not stressing about your current situation and staying optimistic. Despite, Chieko, just going back to Chieko's story, she was a cancer survivor. That's a huge challenge. That tears people down. And she stayed positive. She didn't worry about the things out of her control. I did an episode on that last week or the week before. Go listen to that if you want to hear more about, staying in control of the things you can control. But optimism and staying positive will lower your stress and promote longevity. Chronic stress kills people. That's true. Chronic stress kills people. So if every day you wake up and you're stressed, you are dwindling your life. If you want to live a happier, healthier, and longer life, you cannot live your life stressed. You can't do it. You've got to find purpose. You've got to practice gratitude. You've got to stay active. You got to cherish those friendships because all of those things decrease the amount of stress you live with and keep you optimistic. A couple things that you can do for optimism: reframe situations positively. So when things go bad, try to find some good in there, right? Like try to hunt the good stuff. Laugh often. Find people that you can just laugh with, that you can just enjoy life with, right? Cherish those friendships. Let go of what you can't change and focus on the good. Like, you got to do those things. You've got to do those things. Now, I say all that to say that, I'm hoping that those landed. I'm hoping that those hit home for you, because they're super impactful. They really are. They're super impactful, but they're so small, right? They're so small. Stay active. Cherish your friendships. Find purpose. Practice gratitude and don't stress. Be optimistic. They're super simple, and they don't require, none of those things cost money, right? They're free. They're just a way of thinking or living. They're just a change in how you live or how you think. Maybe you look at those 5 and you're like, this is like super simple, and I'm already doing 3 of them. Well, how about you just keep doing those 3 and pick one? Pick one of the 2 that you're not currently doing and start trying that. Do it for 6 months before you try to add on number 5. Really instill that into your life, because like I said, these are things that you just need to be a part of your life. Like, daily, you need to be finding purpose. Daily, you need to be practicing gratitude. Daily, you need to be cherishing your friendships. Daily, you need to be staying active. Daily, you don't need to be stressing, right? Like, things you can just do daily. Super impactful. So I hope that really, really resonated with you. If you saw it at the top of the article, when I posted the picture of the article, she talked about complaining, and Chieko, the piece right there, it said complaining only leads to more complaints. Complaining only leads to more complaints. So complain about your situation, and you're just going to keep complaining, right? Instead, take action. Do something. Change your situation, because you're in charge of it. Control what you can control. Listen to my episode that I did last week or week before. Control what you can control. But these were Chieko's 5 rules, and they helped her live deep into her old age, right? Stay active, connect with friends, find purpose, practice gratitude, and stay optimistic. All of those can help us thrive. Every one of them. But complaining will only lead to more complaints. So don't complain. Don't complain about your situation. Don't complain about, woe is me, like I can't do anything right. Woe is me, my job, just not doing the good. I'm not performing that well. Woe is me, I can't get out of debt. Woe is me. Like stop complaining. Like, stop complaining. Pick the one thing that you want to start changing and go change it. Change it. One thing at a time is all it takes. It really only takes one thing at a time. So many people want to they want to complain because it buys them time, right? It buys them time to try to figure something out. But when you're complaining, you're giving control. You're giving that power to something else. Maintain your own power, maintain your own self-control, and go change it. Go change it. So hopefully you learned something from this. Hopefully you got something from this. Very 5 simple, effective strategies that you can use. Very 5 simple rules Chieko shared with us that we can all learn from. Every one of us can learn from. So I say all that to jump in and just thank you for watching. I truly appreciate it. If you do like the episode, please go and share the episode. Go and like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Just share this with more people out there, because the biggest thing that I know is that a lot of people are struggling. They're struggling financially. They're struggling with relationships. They're struggling with all these different things going on in their life, right? And the one thing that I know is that if anybody that's struggling with any of those things, with their family life, with their relationships, with their money, with their job, with anything, if you will employ these 5 rules into your daily life, you will it'll be a staircase, not an elevator. You're not going to instantly just go up, but you will staircase your way to a better life, a more fulfilled life, a longer, happier, and healthier and wealthier life. And I mean that. I truly mean that. So share this with more people. Get this information out there, because I want Chieko's story to, first off, be shared, because those 5 rules are impactful. But But how she navigated life despite fighting cancer, how she was able to just navigate life and continue to be just so optimistic and such a good person to be around. And I wish I could have known her. I really do. I wish I knew Chieko. Right. I really do, because, just the way she lives life is just so, it would probably, it's a beautiful thing that you could look at. Right. So share this with more people, get this information out to more people, because these 5 rules can change a lot of people's lives. If you do want to take control of your finances and you're just having a little trouble getting there, just head over to my website, thefinancialmirror.org. Hit book now in the middle of the screen, and you can schedule a free consultation if it's something you're not really sure of. We'll spend about 15 minutes just chatting and determine if that is something, if a financial coach is something that's right for you. If you do want to give extra dose of support to the stream, head over to thefinancialmirror.org/shop. Pick you up some awesome Financial Mirror gear. Like I said, I hope that you enjoyed the episode. Hope that you got something out of this, and that you continue to try to implement these 5 rules into your life. Without further ado, I hope that you have a great rest of your week. Until next week, continue improving the one thing you can control, yourself. Peace.
Well, that wraps up today's Financial Mirror. Join us next week as we continue to work on ourselves, change our mentality, and to commit to achieving the success we always envisioned. Regardless of your platform, help us grow as a community. Please like, subscribe, and share with the people in your lives.